Hello and welcome to Firearm Freedom. This is going to be another First Impressions video. In today's First Impressions video, we are taking a look at the new Streamlight Protac 2.0. And before we get this video started, I wanted to give a shout out to this video's sponsor, which is Parcel Safety. These days, you never know when you're going to be in a situation where you may need emergency support in the way that we breathe. When you are looking at a variety of different masks, from regular respirators to full-on CBRN style masks, Parcel Safety has pretty much everything that you could be interested in. What I like about Parcel is if you're not looking to break the bank on a gas mask and you're looking for something just to protect your lungs, whether it's for stuff around the house, a small respirator, you don't need a full face mask, they have that. And then if you want to spend the money on a better product, something that is a little bit better suited for, again, those CBRN tasks, Parcel also offers that. They're also offering you guys a discount code. So at checkout, you can type in Firearm Freedom 10 and save yourself 10% off of your order, and that will also let them know that you made it to their website from this video. The Protac 2.0. More specifically, this is the 2.0 rifle-mounted light. They also have a Protac 2.0. It's the exact same light as this, but it's not designed to be mounted on a firearm. It's designed to be essentially pocket carried. For this video, again, we're taking a look at the rail mount. Size is the exact same if you're looking for the pocket light as well. This is kind of an interesting review because for a long time, I've had this for a few months, and for a long time, I did not think I liked this light at all. I actually thought the review was going to be a little bit negative. Full disclosure, as always, what is my relationship with Streamlight? Streamlight was nice enough to send me this light to check out for review. They did not ask me to say anything positive. They didn't see this video before it came out. They have always been an awesome company to deal with here on Firearm Freedom, and that is exactly why you see me continuing to rep their products on the channel. I saw this light come out, and I was originally kind of drawn to it by the increase in lumens. I have so many Protac lights at this point, I can't even count how many I have, and they are consistently my go-to rifle light when I don't want to break the bank. Yes, Surefires are cool. Ironically, I have had more issues with my Surefire rifle-mounted lights than I have my Streamlights, but that's neither here nor there. They are also double the price in the Surefire market. Now, there are some other lights out there that are becoming more reasonably priced for still getting a very durable, battle-ready light. But when it comes to the Protac series, it's one of the few lights out there on the market that's going to give you a battle-ready light that is also going to be, again, about half the price of the other lights on the market. And that I really enjoy. So when I saw this come out at 2,000 lumens, I was immediately interested in the light. One of the things that I think Streamlight does not do a great job in their marketing of this light, and maybe there's a specific reason for that, and also a lot of the other reviews don't really kind of showcase this, but we have to talk about the size. That's the first thing, because when I started to take a look at this light, actually, when I got it in the mail, and when it first came out, I actually laughed out loud. It is comically large. It's like brings you back to the 90s when people are strapping old school mag lights on their guns. I mean, it is ginormous. I would say it's actually a little larger than an Owl light, and if you've ever seen the Owl, it is massive. This thing tops that. So I have a Protac HLX. This is the larger Protac that was out for a long time. And I mean, the 2.0 dwarfs that. And maybe not completely dwarfs it, but I mean, it's large. Then we have the HRT AWLS, and the size comparison between these two is actually very similar, although the Protac still beats it out a little bit. And just the overall width of the light, the diameter, is a little larger on the Protac 2.0, but again, length is very similar to the AWLS. Now, this is probably the most comical size difference here. You can see between the Surefire Scout, which is a very typical flashlight that you're going to be seeing on a rifle. This is a Vampire, but still same profile. I mean, it's like half the size. It's comical. It's pretty bad. So in comparing the size of this light, right, it's an immediate turnoff. I won't lie to you guys. I got it out of the box. I'm like, man, this is going to look so stupid on whatever I put it on. Now, looks is not everything when it comes to a rifle-mounted light, but I mean, you know, it's definitely a little bit, right? You got to at least have somewhat of a sleek design. And I think the market is looking for a slimmer light, something that packs a lot of power in a smaller size. And there are lights that fit that these days. So, you know, as Streamlight is trying to compete, I think that is a very tough competitive market, and they're missing it a little bit with the size of this light. Now I decided, you know what? I'm not going to judge a book by its cover. I'm going to continue to try to use this light and see how the light performs over the course of a few months and see if the size kind of makes it not as big of a deal. Now, what comes in the box with your Protac 2.0 is all the standard Protac stuff. You have your rail mount accessories, so you can get a pressure pad, and you'll notice here that we have a more standard switch design, and that's pretty cool. So you have the ability to pop this guy into place, and that gives you a pressure pad for momentary on. It does not have a constant on feature on that pressure pad, which I don't necessarily mind. Streamlight also went ahead and went with this little guy here, so it allows you to have essentially still a standard thumb switch in the back of the light. This is excellent. I know I've had issues with Streamlight pressure pads in the past, and really any pressure pads I'm not a huge fan of, just for the issues that they can consistently have. So having something as a backup is excellent, and then if you don't want to use the pressure pad at all, you can just simply use this and plug the hole with this small little rubber strap plug piece there on the side. Now this, to be honest with you guys, I'm not a huge fan of. I think Streamlight could have came up with a different idea for this little guy here on the end, because when you're using the pressure pad, there's no way to like really nicely tuck that away. It's just kind of like flying out in the wind. Not the end of the world, but I will guarantee you that this will be ripped off in a short order in most case scenarios. So thinking of somewhat of a better design for this, I think, is ideal. Whether you create an additional slot that you could plug that thing into when it's not in use, or just ditch it entirely and think of a new solution, but this guy is just not really working too well. As far as the switches, I had absolutely no issues in either of the switches working for the light. It worked great. It does have a standard Streamlight rail mount section here for Picatinny rail. I did remove that, and you guys are seeing me using a Magpul Scout light, which gives you the indication that this light does work with all standard Scout mounting capabilities, which is a big step up, because originally Streamlight's larger lights, like their HLX series and other things, did not use, some of those lights did not use the Scout mounting system. It was a proprietary setup, and that really is a no-go when it comes to the amount of mounts that are out there on the market. So the fact that I can use a standard M-LOK slot there is excellent. I really do enjoy that, even though some of the mounts are not going to work really that well just with the size of the light. This Magpul offset Scout mount works fine, and I did not experience any issues with that. To go along with the greater power in this light, Streamlight has a beefy battery here that is the SLB50. This is a massive battery. It does dwarf the 18650, and unfortunately it is not compatible with any other batteries. It is a proprietary setup, and you'll notice there's a little lip here in the battery itself, and that is for charging, and another reason on why it's proprietary for this system. So if we go to install the battery, it cannot go in any other way than the right way when it pops into place. So once you screw the cap back on the back portion of the light, you can simply get it tight, and that allows you to reveal the charging port. And that charging port is the actual battery itself. For me, this little thing here screams issues down the road in the way of water. That's my biggest concern here. Yes, the O-ring at this point in time is really solid, really good. As the light wears over time, I do worry that that's just going to simply get dried out or whatever else and cause this to pop down. And this is a huge fail point of the light because you got water getting right into the battery compartment, and of course that can be a pretty big deal. So we will see how this holds up over time. I would like to see that go away. The battery's rechargeable. I don't really care that I have to undo the tail cap to take the battery off to charge it. It is cool that I can plug the light in, but to be honest with you guys, if it's mounted on a rifle, I really don't want to have to deal with dragging my rifle around to then plug in the flashlight that's attached to it. I think the easier option would actually be taking off the tail cap, popping out the battery, charging it, and I'm good to go. Now, I did charge this battery once. No issues there. As far as the specs, the power, this has 2,000 lumens, but a lot of people were disappointed in the candela. So it's only coming in at 17,700 candela, which is, of course, much, much lower than other lights out there on the market. We just did a review on the HRT AWLS. That has a whopping 90,000 candela and 1,700 lumens. So when you compare those specs, again, at first, it seems like Streamlight is kind of missing the market here. You have a ginormous light, and with that light, yes, you do have high lumens, but where the market seems to be going is in the direction of candela, whereas here, we have the opposite. We have very, very high lumens, very low candela, but how does that translate into how the light performs? To be honest with you, I was noticing a very interesting trend. The candela in a lot of these high power lights has a great ability to push out and see at a further distance, to punch through different barriers. But when it comes to a 2,000 lumen light, even though there's 17,000 candela, what I notice is that the spill is extreme. I mean, we're talking in 100 yards, where you guys will see a lot of different testing, compared to the other lights I was reviewing, it illuminated everything. I mean, everything in 100 yards, side to side, complete peripheral view was lit up. Now, there is no distinct hotspot with this light, but when it comes to a defensive role, even an SHTF sort of role, I think most of everyone's possibility of what-if engagements would probably be 100 yards and in, realistically. And when you're looking at a light like this, I would much rather have incredible spill that's all very hot. I can see everything on either side. I can see if somebody's coming in from whatever side that's in my peripheral vision. I don't have to worry about a hot spot and everything else is black. So yes, I can punch out and I can see a further distance, but now I don't know what's going on in my peripherals. I'd much rather have a very powerful light that expands all over the place, and that's exactly what this light does. And the more that I used it, the more that I started to kind of get past the size. The light is performing actually really well, and if you can get past the comically large size that it has, it actually does a very good job. It also translates really well into home defense distances. It is packing a massive punch when it comes to what the attacker is seeing on the other end, which is an incredibly blinding 2,000 lumens, and it's also illuminating the entire room like you put a light switch on. And again, there's not really a defined hotspot, but because of its lumens power, it just has the ability to punch out to 100 yards with that spill, and it does a very, very good job in doing so. But for me, in my testing, it was actually pretty excellent. So I will continue to use this light. I'll continue to beat it up, see if it's as durable and rugged as my other Protacs, but I would love to see this technology from Streamlight brought into a slightly smaller package. This is just big enough to be, again, too large. So getting this down smaller, and they would have a truly perfect light for most situations that we are going to come across. Guys, that is going to wrap up this first impressions video on the Streamlight Protac 2.0. If you guys have any other questions about this light or anything else on the channel, please throw them down below in the comment section, and I absolutely will get back to you. While you're down there, head up to the description for different ways to support the channel, and as always, stay tuned for more great videos coming soon.